Hello. वेलकम। आज आप लोग सेशन आज का सेशन यहाँ प्रारंभ कर रहे हैं और दीप प्राकट्य के लिए विजय भाई को बोल रहा हूँ, पधारे। ओमकार। પ્રોગ્રામ તો જાહેર થઈ ગયો આખા દિવસનો કે કેવી રીતે છે? અચ્છા, ઓકે ઓકે. સવારનું સેશન, રિફાઇનિંગનું સેશન કેટલા વાગે? આપણું નિકિતાબેન કેટલા વાગે? આપણું કેટલા વાગે? 6:15. હા, એટલે 5:45 વાગે મોર્નિંગ ટી, 6:15 વાગે રિફાઇનિંગનું સેશન, 8 વાગે 8:30 થી 9:30 સવારનો બ્રેકફાસ્ટ અને 10:30નું સેશન લેશું ને? 10:30 કે 10? હા, કાલે 10 થી 12, 10 થી 12:30. આવતીકાલનું સવારનું સેશન 10 થી 12:30, બાકી રેગ્યુલર 10:30 થી 12:30. બપોરે 12:30 થી 1:30 લંચ, બપોરે 4 વાગે ટી, 4:30 થી 6 સાંજનું સેશન, 6:30 આરતી અને 7 વાગે ડિનર. જો લાઇટ હશે એટલે વરસાદ હશે તો ડિનર વહેલું કરવું પડશે, કારણ કે જીવડા જીવાતો કીડે મકોડે બહુ હોंगे, इसलिए ડિનર વહેલું કરવું પડશે. ખાસ ત્રણેય સમય, નાસ્તાનો, લંચનો અને ડિનરનો, આ ત્રણેય સમય તમારે ખાસ ટાઈમ સાચવવાનો રહેશે, એટલું ખાસ જરૂરી છે. ઓકે.
મારી રીડિંગની નોટ્સ કે I think till the notes come you want to talk about anything else. Anything Deepak you want to talk about? Yeah, but I can't read it. I'm waiting for my notes.
So Ketav will come now. He's come. But is it? We didn't leave off from here, did we? Did we leave off from here? The last time, did we leave off from here? Yes. No, you sure about that? Check. We left at the very introduction. We read a few 8 pages. Nah. But anyway, Saab must have taken notes for this one. Now we'll go ahead with this.
What happened?
I was just wondering, where did we leave off last time? But we'll go forth with this then.
No, this is a part of this we have taken last time. Yes. Yeah? A part of this we have taken. We are starting from O Sanjay.
All right.
But if you want to take this, just he saw the wealth and power of the sons of Pandu at the Rajasuya sacrifice and was mocked at his awkwardness when he ascended the hall. We'll take that one we'll take that one sentence and then go to the. So we'll start from there. Okay? Okay, 1 minute, 3-step rhythmic breathing, and we start. We can read that, yeah.
He saw the wealth and power of the sons of Pandu at the Rajsuya sacrifice and was mocked at his awkwardness when he ascended the hall.
So now the war is over, and Dhritarashtra is talking to his charioteer Sanjay, right? And this Dhritarashtra recounts 100 reasons of why he knew they were going to lose the war, right? So these are the reasons in which we are going. We did some last time, and we are going to continue those reasons now. So he's now saying that why did we lose the war, and he's recounting those reasons. Of course, now this is in the aftermath of the war. If he knew these reasons before, then why did he allow the war to happen? But he was weak, and he couldn't stop the war. So he says that when Duryodhan went for the Rajasayu sacrifice at Indrapras, he felt very jealous on seeing the wealth of the Pandavas, and then he fell down in the hall in that water, and he was made fun of. And that is when the final seed of the war was planted. Now, here I want to ask you a question. What are the seeds of karma? What are the seeds of karma? We'll make this interactive, so I don't have to keep on talking. What are the seeds of karma? There are 4 seeds of karma, right? And Patanjali is going to talk about it in the Yoga Sutra. Which are these seeds? Which are these seeds? No. We are saying that there are only 4 seeds of karma. What are the names of those 4 seeds? What are the names of those 4 seeds? Then they are sown and they sprout irrespective of time and place is a different matter. It's a totally different matter. Right? Right? Rag, Dvesh, Asmita, Rag, Dvesh and Abhinivesh. Asmita, we'll just do a loose translation now. Asmita meaning ego. Rag, Dvesh. What does Rag and Dvesh, what do they start with? How do they start? How do they start? How does Rag and Dvesh start? No, rag and dvesh. What is the beginning of rag and dvesh? Huh? Pardon? Self-love is asmita. We saw asmita, rag, dvesh, abhinivesh. We said 4 seeds. So the first seed is ego, self-love. Right? What is the second 2 seeds we said are rag and dvesh, attraction and repulsion. Right? So where does the seed of raga or dvesha start with? What does it start with? Which inner feeling, which inner movement does it start with in our chitta? Very good. Very good. Each moment we are subject to like and dislike. Then whether it is jealousy, it has come from dislike. Right? But the first, what you call, drop in the ocean is like or dislike. Right? Rag and dvesh. And from that it grows, it can grow even deeper. And the fourth is fear, abhinivesh. Fear of what is going to happen in the future. B meaning fear, abhi meaning fear from all sides. Avesh, to be identified in that fear. Now, how do we want to understand this in our daily living? Here, what was the seed which Duryodhan sowed over here? Out of these 4, which was the seed which Duryodhan sowed? Dvesh. So from dislike to jealousy, jealousy to envy, and envy to deep hate. Right? All these are different, types of the seed of dvesh. Dvesh means repulsion. Repulsion. Now, what lesson do we learn from this? And then the seed was sown, the war happened, and Duryodhan lost the war. He lost everything in the war. Right? So what lesson do we learn over here? In this, what lesson do we learn? And this can be for any, any endeavor in our life. It doesn't just, I'm not talking about spirituality over here, right? It could be any endeavor in our life, anything we want to do, or even our business which we are doing, etc., etc. Right? So what lesson do we learn over here? No, you're sowing a seed. So when you sow a seed, you're going to get a plant. The plant is going to grow, and the grown plant is going to give a new seed. Right? So seed to seed is the journey. So seed is the beginning, seed is the end. Can you understand this? Seed is the beginning, seed is the end. So if I've sown the seed at this moment, then this is my beginning, but this is also my end. Can you now understand what I'm trying to get at? Right? So he sowed the seed of dvesha. Dvesha, deep hatred, jealousy, envy. And what did he get in return? He lost the war. He lost the war. So what does this tell us? And we will take the other 3 seeds also. Just we'll look at the other 3 also. So what does this tell us about our daily living, where we are moving in life and we want to, achieve something in life, or, make something in life, whatever. What lesson do we learn from this over here? Yeah, go ahead. Right. So any activity which we do, and in the base of that activity are these 4 seeds, 3 seeds we'll say. What do you call? Ego, dislike or repulsion, and fear. Right? We'll talk about like later on. Talk about like later on. Can you get it? Now, supposing you're doing some business, right? And one competitor of yours has gone ahead of you. So now you rearrange things and all, but in that, what do you call, rearranging of things, in your, what you call, new investment or whatever you're doing to go ahead of your competitor, the basis is fear. What is going to come out of it? Fear. Can you understand? This is what I'm trying to tell you. Can you get what I say? Right? Now, I want to help you. Right? It's a good activity. Right? I want to help you. But I help you, and then I go and tell this guy over there that I helped him, but he didn't even say thank you. So what was the seed of help which I sowed? Ego. Right? Ego. So can something good come out of that? Nothing good can come out of it. So when we are moving along in life, right? And whenever we are starting some activity or whenever we are doing something, try to see why we are doing it. What is the seed we are sowing at the time of doing it, right? My ego is hurt, so I have to show him I'm definitely a better person than him. So I have to show him. So at that moment, whatever activity I start from there, the seed will be a wrong seed. Can you understand? It is out of self-love, right? It is out of feeling hurt, right? So this is something we are given here, a lesson for life, that in life we do so many activities, we do so many things in life. And why do we do it, right? We do it because, what is the seed we are sowing at that time? And only the seed can become the fruit. And the fruit is the seed. Fruit is the seed. The beginning is the end, right? So whenever we are starting some new activity, doing anything in life, right, try to see that it is none of these 3 seeds which we are sowing. Then of course is like. And like will create desire. And we, in life, we cannot be free of desire. Right? We can reach a state where desire does not touch us. Right? But we cannot be absolutely free of desire. Right? Why can't we be absolutely free of desire? This whole, what you call, existence is because of his desire. Right? And so, of course, the Shastras, they don't call it his desire. They call it his Ichha Shakti. His Ichha Shakti. Right? So, right? Desire cannot be eliminated completely. So how do we sow a right seed where we have to balance desire? I have a desire to earn 100 rupees, right? Now I've got rid of the other 3. Now I'm going ahead in this, what do you call, activity of mine to earn 100 rupees. And I have seen that this activity has not started from a motive of ego, not from a motive of, what do you call, fear, and not from a motive of dislike. And we saw dislike goes into so many things, right up to hatred, right? Okay. But I see that I have a desire to earn 100 rupees and I accept this. Now, here at the time of that decision, what do I do to balance this a little? What do I do to balance this a little? And take it with like and dislike. Take it with like and dislike. See, what comes with desire? What comes with desire? What is always there with desire? The result. The result. Right? So desire and result go together. Desire and end go together. Now, this is a fact of life. I mean, we can't run away from this fact of life. How can we balance it a little? I'm not saying what Krishna said, that you do your activities in life without any desire for the result. That is not possible. That is not possible. It is impractical. Right? He may have said it. Right? So how do we balance that? Huh? When does the desire for result drop? When does the desire for result drop? When you're enjoying what you're doing. When there is enjoyment in what you're doing, of course there is a desire that I want to earn that 100 rupees, but that I have sort of balanced it. It's not now so, what do you call, intense, what Mr. Tavaria calls the resultant intensity, right? I have not sown that seed with that much intensity. The intensity has been offset because whether the result comes or not, I am still going to enjoy the, what do you call, movement towards that result, right? And in that enjoyment of the movement towards the result, the desire, the intense desire for the result drops a little, right? It gets neutralized a little. So I just wanted to, because this one sentence here comes where Duryodhan, the seed for war, was planted at that time. Each moment in our life we pass through so many activities. Each activity which we do, what is the motive behind it? And these motives are 4 motives: ego, like, dislike and fear. Like, dislike and fear, right? And if we are, now I'll just, because we have talked about it, I'll just go a little further. When Patanjali talks about these 4, he's actually talking about 5. He's not talking about 4. So he says, avidya, asmita, rag, dvesh, abhinivesh. So he starts with avidya. Avidya is absence of awareness. Absence of awareness. So most of us, whenever we are doing any activity, there is absolutely no awareness of what seed we are sowing. If we knew what seed we are sowing, we would know the result, because the seed which is planted is the result. The seed which is planted is mechanically. And we keep on reaping the results of them. Right? But if there is, what do you call, awareness, and not just awareness, there must be also knowledge of this. If there's awareness plus ignorance, it's not going to work. There must be awareness plus knowledge of the science of karma, right? That karma is, there must first be a seed, right? And if I don't plant the seed, if I'm aware at that time, I don't plant the seed, then there is, I will do the activity, but there, I am not bound by any karma in that activity. So a person who rises in awareness, right? A person who becomes more and more conscious on this spiritual path of ours, slowly he comes to a state where he does the activities of life, but he does not allow himself to sow a single seed of karma. So there is no karma involved, right? So Krishna talks about karma yoga. Patanjali does not talk about karma yoga. He says Kriya Yoga. Yeah, you're doing the Kriya. You're just doing the activity. But you're not sowing the seed of karma. So I thought this would help you all in your, what do you call, normal day-to-day living. Right? That you live in a family, or you may be living in a joint family, right? And am I doing something out of dislike? Am I just doing something just to show the other person, right? And it may be applicable in the job also. There we bring in a little bit of awareness, little bit of consciousness, that which seed am I sowing? Which seed am I sowing? Right? Okay, we can start now. Yeah, the light of observation is awareness. The light of observation is awareness. And the sensitivity of the observer is consciousness. Right? We start?
He couldn't bear this, but was incapable of defeating the Pandavas in the field of battle.
No, you go ahead. No. Now we start from O Sanjay.
Okay, we start from O Sanjay. Okay. O Sanjay, I had no hope of victory when I heard that in the presence of all the kings, Krishna was taken. When the wonderful bow was drawn and pierced, the target fell to the ground.
O Sanjay. Last time we talked about the word Sanjay. Who remembers? Who remembers? Who remembers? Come on. What is the meaning of the word Jai? Victory. What is the difference of the word Vijay and Ajay? Jaya. Over someone else. So Jaya is victory within our self. Sanjaya. That which leads to inner victory. Which leads to the path of consciousness. So for every seeker, his first awakening that there is a path which leads to inner consciousness, that first awakening, that first call from inside to wake up from our blindness, to wake up from our sleep, that inner, what do you call, I, or that inner call is what we call as Sanjay, right? And Sanjay is the charioteer of the king. Charioteer of the king. Yeah. Oh Sanjay.
O Sanjay, I had no hope of victory when I heard that in the presence of all the kings, Krishna was taken.
In the presence of all the kings, that is at Draupadi Swayamvar. Krishna means Draupadi. All the kings were present, but Arjun won her hand as a Brahmin. He won her hand as a Brahmin. He did not win her hand as a king. It's all very important. Now, at Draupadi Swayamvar, whom does Arjun meet for the first time? Whom does Arjun meet for the first time? And Krishna. He meets, Krishna is his cousin, right? His father's sisters. His father's sisters. His mother's brother's son. His mother's brother's son. First cousin, right? And they have never met. And What does this now? How does he win the hand of Draupadi? How does he win the hand of Draupadi? Come on. What happened? What was there? Huh? The fish, and he had to hit the eye of the fish. But how was he supposed to hit the eye of the fish? By looking at the fish or looking in the water? Looking down in the water. And the fish was moving round. So, when in our journey, when are we able to see the inner Krishna? When do we meet the first meeting, the first inner glimpse? When does that take place? No, what does he do to hit that target up and look down in the water? What does he have to do? Huh? He has to divide the attention. One arrow of attention in the water and one arrow of attention on the target. Right? So what is the technique to see the inner divine? Dividing the attention. And one arrow of attention is on what? Yeah, but before that, what is there? What one arrow of attention on what? Huh? Reflection. One arrow of attention on the reflection. Reflection is our normal life. Reflection is our normal life. Mr. Tavaria says that, what do you call? Bhuvalok is a 1% reflection of Swahalok, and Bhulok is a 10% refraction of Bhuvalok. Right? So, in life, wherever we are looking outside, we are seeing the reflection. But if you divide the attention and start looking inside at the same time, then you see the source of the reflection. And the source of the reflection is Krishna. The source of the reflection. Right? So, yeah. Right? Observing our feelings. Reactions. Rag, dvesh. Reaction. Rag, dvesh. Reaction. Right? So, in the presence of all the kings, he says, Krishna was taken. Draupadi was taken. None of the kings could win her hand. When that wonderful bow was pierced, the wonderful bow was drawn, and the target fell to the ground. What does he mean, the target? You know, Gurdjieff had a study house in his institute at Priori in France. And in the study house, there was a list of one-liners, different sayings. And one of the first sayings was, remember your aim always and everywhere. Remember your aim always and everywhere. What is our aim? What is our aim? To rise in consciousness. That is our aim. A big aim. On that we make small aims for every day. That is a different matter. Right? But we have a big aim. Right? We rise. Now, supposing somebody insults me and I react and I give it back to him, have I risen in consciousness or have I fallen in consciousness? Huh? Fallen. So what does it mean? What does it mean? I have forgotten my aim. I have forgotten my aim. At the moment that somebody insulted me, if I remembered my aim, would I react with him? My whole aim is to be free from reaction. My whole aim is to be free from reaction. Right? But at that moment, I didn't remember my aim. So Gurdjieff had this saying, remember your aim always and everywhere. Now supposing you take off your shoes or your chappals outside and one goes this way, one goes that way. Have you taken them out mechanically or consciously? Huh? Mechanically. That you have forgotten your aim. Remember your aim always and everywhere. Right? So he had these sayings, beautiful sayings, and they were called the sayings of the study house. Sayings of the study house. Another one he had was, if you have not finished your accounts with your father, you have no reason to be here. Right? So if there is any dvesh, conflict with the father, then first go and do that, then come here and practice spirituality. But first go and balance your accounts with your father. Balance your accounts with your father. Okay. Next one. Okay.
O Sanjay,
Yeah. Give him the mic, no? Give him the mic.
We didn't finish one thing. You said that he had to win or be there as a Brahmin, not as a Kshatriya or as a king. What was the reason for that?
What does the Brahmin signify? But they were in the Brahmins this thing as disguise. As a disguise. And they didn't want the other kings to know at that time that they had won Draupadi's hand. And in a way, whenever we practice self-observation, for a long time the body-brain system must not know that we are observing the body-brain system. After some time it is okay. So there is some deep connection over here. But we could still talk about it in many things.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Give him the mic, no?
Would
Problem-
it be connected with desire, the wanting to be disguised as a Brahmin?
No, they had to be disguised because the Kauravas thought they were dead. They had burnt in the palace of wax. Right? They had burnt in the palace of wax.
There is a view that first, similar to what Gurdjieff has said, that first you have to go and settle with your brother, and then you can come to me for any communion with me. Jesus Christ has said.
But in the Bible, the brother means many things. Can you understand? The brother also means that person who is always with us inside within us. So, when the Bible uses the word brother, it has many meanings. The Bible. એટલે You know, there is this basis in the Bible of faith. Faith, right? Now, faith means that you trust in something higher. You trust in something higher. Logical, right? That with all my intelligence, there's still something which is more intelligent than me, which is beyond me, and it takes care because it is an elder brother. It is an elder brother. It takes care. Can you get it? So you're going into unknown territory, but you have this trust. Right. So that brother word also comes with faith. That however much debt I am in, I may have gambled away everything, but the elder brother will come and take care of everything. Not in the, don't go and do it, not in the, what do you call, literal sense, but in that sense. Yeah.
Brother also means fellow man in the Bible. Usual normal usage. So one thing still is not clear about that paragraph. The target fell to the ground. Why fell to the ground? Which one is the target being referred to now over here?
The fish. The fish.
So then, fell to the ground. What is the meaning of that sentence?
So, if we have a, what do you call, a big aim, a large aim, to rise in consciousness, I have to break it down into very small aims. Now, supposing I have a dislike for one person, a deep dislike for one person, and that person is going to come to meet me today. Right? So I decide that I won't react with him. I won't get upset with him. I won't get irritated with him. I'm going to pause over there. I'm going to hold my consciousness and not allow myself to become a victim of irritation. Yeah? And if I can go through that, then the target has fallen to the ground. But still the big target is always there. Can you get it? So for that we make small targets and we keep on hitting those small targets with our arrows of attention. Right?
Okay, in that context it is clear.
Right?
Okay, sir.
So in that case, continuing with what you just said, if I keep hitting it with attention, that means the target that falls to the ground is my hatred for that person.
In that moment, I have not become a victim of that hatred. I have woken up from the dream of hatred. I have not allowed myself to be hypnotized or by the emotion of dislike of hatred.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my aim.
Yes.
My bigger aim is consciousness.
Yes.
But my smaller aim in the next hour is this.
Yes.
Can you get it?
Yes.
Right.
Thank you.
And you will see we slip so many times. Can you get it? In small things. Now, you may go into the kitchen to do something. But you go into the kitchen and you do so many things, but you come back and realize you forgot what you were supposed to do. Can you get it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So, you've not hit your target.
Thank you. Thank you.
O Sanjay, I had no hope of victory when
I heard. I heard.
I had no hope of victory when I heard that Subhadra of the Madhu lineage was forcibly carried away by Arjun and married in Dwarka.
Now, Subhadra was Krishna's sister also, and what you call Balram's sister also. And Balram had great love for Duryodhana. And so he had promised Duryodhana that I will give Subhadra in marriage to you. Su means good. Not just good, very good, extreme good. Bhadra means overflowing. Bharan Poshan, what we call, to nourish. But not just nourishing. The what do you call, the crops are overflowing with what you call corn, and there's fruits everywhere and everybody is happy. Bhadra means prosperity. Prosperity. So Su means extreme, very good. Bhadra means prosperity. And she was the sister of Krishna. So wherever there is consciousness, what do you call, through the back door, there is always prosperity. And prosperity does not always have to be money-wise prosperity. Yeah, go ahead.
Does it take time to come on? But then a question arises that Balram promises, I will give my sister's hand to you, which is Duryodhan. How does that work? How does that work? What is the logic behind that?
No, that, I mean, what do you call, there's always a mechanical this thing that we want prosperity in our life. There's this mechanical desire that we always want goodness in our life, comfort, pleasure.
Oh, we want. Duryodhan wants everything. But Balram promising him is another thing.
Yeah, so what do you call, in the play of life, even the most wicked person wants it, right? But he may not get that prosperity. He may get satisfaction, but he won't get that overflowing prosperity, right? So that will only go with consciousness.
But he has been, Balram promising him is what is that logic? Why did he do that?
Who?
Balram.
No, you don't take it in what do you call, exactly what?
A literal sense, is
literal
it?
sense.
Okay.
Right? But if you take Balram as the Kundalini energy, right? So Balram is that factor where we use the Kundalini energy to fulfill our desires. And Krishna is that factor where the Kundalini energy bows down to the, what do you call, divine, and the divine sleeps on the Kundalini energy. Vishnu sleeping on Shesh. Can you get what I'm trying to say? So wherever there is Vishnu, their prosperity is next door. It's going to come.
Okay, so, I get the point. In the beginning of the practices, we all get carried away by that I will have power, I will get this, I will get that. That's how it means then. All right. Thank you, sir.
Now she is of the Madhu lineage. Madhu lineage. Madhu meaning honey, sweet, right? So wherever there is prosperity, there is sweetness. And that continues. And she was carried away by Arjun, right? So what do you call, Arjun is the disciple, one who sits in Arji, Arjun. Of course, deeper when you go into the meaning of the word Arjun, there is Ruju. Ruju means softness, right? So even though carried away looks like, what do you call, something hard, It's not hard. He's full of softness. So the basic, what do you call, attitude of the disciple is softness. There must be softness. And they were married in Dwarika. They were married in Dwarika. And after they were married, Krishna and Balram left for Indraprasth. Indraprasth. Right? Okay. So when Dhritarashtra heard that prosperity and sweetness had gone into the Pandav camp and had not come in his camp, he says, I knew we were going to lose the war. He's giving 100 reasons over here why he lost the war.
O Sanjay, I had no hope of victory when I heard that Arjun had satisfied Agni by giving him the Khandav forest. And when he used his divine arrows to check the downpour brought down by the king of gods.
Anyone know of this episode in the Mahabharata? The burning of the Khandav one? The burning of the Khandav one. Pardon? Everybody's read that? The episode of the burning of the Khandav one. Huh? It's in, I think it's in 3, 4 or 5 episodes. Huh? So it then comes out that the Pandavas are alive. Right? They have not burnt in the house of wax, in the palace of wax. So they come back to Hastinapur, and then Dhritarashtra decides to give them half the kingdom. But he gives them that part of the kingdom called Khandav Prasth. Khandav Prasth. Khand means khand. Parts. Something which is fragmented. Something like a desert which nothing can grow over there. Right? And it's not fertile. Right? And pardon? Barren. Huh? 9 articles. I think I wrote 9. And actually it's very beautiful because the whole thing starts with Krishna and Arjun deciding to go for a, what do you call, small holiday together. And they don't go just like that for the holiday. There are 3, 4 pages in the Mahabharat where Vyas explains what all they took on the holiday. And they took the choicest foods, the choicest cooks. They took a whole, what do you call, gathering of dancing girls. Right? And with all that they went on a holiday, and the holiday was on the banks of the Yamuna. And there then, for the first time, Krishna recounts his childhood, what do you call, his childhood journey, his childhood experiences on the banks of the Yamuna. And Arjun asks him questions about this, and he of his relationship with Radha and the gopis and all that. And all that comes out in this holiday. And then when they are, what do you call, talking like this, suddenly they see this Brahmin coming from far. And that Brahmin is Agni Dev, and he's shining. And he says that you please burn this forest for me. Now, the forest is the Manipur chakra within us. and that forest has to be burnt, right? And otherwise it eats up what do you call all the ghee. And ghee is the sattva which takes us higher, the third force. Right? And so that forest has to be burnt. In Western, what do you call yoga, there is the story of Hercules, how he changed the, what do you call, flow of the river, and the river cleared out the Manipur chakra. Similarly, here it was burnt out. And every time Agni wanted to burn it, Indra sent, what do you call, rain, and did not allow him to burn it. And so then Agni, now you see that here also we must see that some things lead to the other. That to fight the war, and the war had not been decided at that time. That time they had their own kingdom, though there was no war. But for the war, Arjun would need a chariot, Arjun would need weapons, a quiver with arrows and all that. And so he told Agni to give him the weapons. Krishna told Agni to give him the Sudarshan Chakra, right? And so they got the weapons and they fought Indra, and then Indra came with all the gods to fight with them. And they defeated all the gods and they burnt the forest. It's a long story. And this is the clearing of the Manipur chakra. It's very important. So from Khandav 1, it became Indraprastha. Indraprastha. The city where the Indra means the Indriyas, the five senses. The city where the five senses can enjoy the impressions of life. Right? And Gurdjieff calls the impressions as food. Impression, food. So the city where the five senses can enjoy the impressions of life. Yeah.
O Sanjay, I had no hope of victory when I heard that Yudhishthir had been defeated in the game of dice by Saubal and deprived of his kingdom, though his powerful brothers were still in attendance.
Sobal is Shakuni, the son of Subal. His father's name was Subal. Right? And he says, when Yudhishthir lost the game of dice, I knew that, why did he know at that moment? Why did he know at that moment? Why did he know at that moment? Yeah, but why did he saying when Shakuni won the game of dice with Yudhishthir, and even though he had so many powerful brothers, but they listened to him, and I knew that we were going to lose the war at that time. Why? What was revealed to him in that? That he won the game of dice through cheating, through treachery. He won the game of dice through cheating, right? And no good could come out of that. Yeah, go ahead.
O Sanjay, I had no hope of victory when I heard that Draupadi, with protectors, but as if no protectors existed, was dragged to the court at the time of a period, with a single garment and with tears in her throat.
When Draupadi was dragged by Dushasan to the court, and then she was disrobed in the court. Right? Now, why does he say that? What does Draupadi, what does she... we have to understand the Hindu parampara for this. What does she symbolize? What does Draupadi symbolize? She is the eldest daughter, right? So she is the incarnation of Lakshmi in the household. And if Lakshmi is not treated properly, then the whole household will get ill-fated. right? The whole house, there's a bad omen on the household, right? So, says that I realized this when Draupadi was full. Even though she had protectors, nobody could protect her. Nobody could protect her. And maybe this was the biggest, what do you call this thing, right? And this is very important in life, that do we make female energy unhappy? Little far. Yeah. And so existentially, and this goes right down to the level of male and female. Existentially, any male energy which makes a female energy unhappy has sown a long seed of karma, a long line of karma. Can you understand? Right? So I'm not going into the individual aspects of it. Right? But it is as if the whole universe is Shakti, and you have what you call disrobed that Shakti. You have taken a sari of that Shakti. Right? And this is very important, because for hundreds of years, male treatment of female was very, what do you call, and even now in some religions it still is, right? So, and it is a very wrong karma, very wrong karma. And at some time the whole karma is going to come back, Huh? I don't know, it's not working anyway. Huh.
O Sanjay, I had no hope of victory when I heard that the grieving and righteous Pandav brothers left for the forest, suffering out of love for the eldest.
So they had their, what do you call, grievance in their heart. They wanted to take revenge, but because of Yudhishthir, they did not take revenge. They went in the forest and they nursed that grievance for 12 years in the forest. They nursed that, and that was going to come back. The king knew it was going to come back. So the king was intelligent, but he was blind in love for his son, right? Attachment for his son.
We have 2-3 mics in the audience, so if anyone has a question, please raise your hands and we'll pass on the mic.
Sir, going to the previous point where you said that if a woman is ill-treated, it affects. So, was the Mahabharat created only because to understand the enormity of what happens when a woman is hurt?
Yeah, that's a big part of the Mahabharat. Mahabharat is everything.
Is that the core of it?
One of the, you can't say just the core, but it is definitely one of the most important parts of the Mahabharat. The whole thing is that what is the starting point? Attachment. Attachment leads to blindness, and blindness leads to wrong action.
Because till Draupadi, women at some point in the Mahabharat were hurt. Ganga, right from there, she had to explain why she is immersing her children. So, is that possible that right up to Draupadi, there has been a woman who has been wronged somewhere? And this has been the culmination. Has that happened? No?
No, I'm not getting what you're saying. I'm not understanding.
If a woman is scorned, there are ramifications to it. So, in the Mahabharata, has there any time been a part where it was a build-up to the Draupadi Vastraharan, where a woman has been hurt at some point, which has led to the Mahabharata?
No, so many, it is a multi-dimension. Can't point out one point only. It is Maha, right? So it is multi-dimensional. So it is opening out so many, what do you call, facets to you,
Hmm.
right? The story of male energy and female energy is one very important part of it.
Hmm.
But what I'm trying to say is the starting point is blindness.
Yes, it is.
The starting point is blindness, right? I'm hurting you, but I'm blind, right? I think I have a right to hurt you, right? Can you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes. Yes, I do.
So the starting point is blindness. And that blindness is not physical blindness. He's not blind. It is the blindness of attachment.
Yes.
The blindness
is.
of attachment. And if you look at it very, very deeply, if we can break free of that blindness of attachment, whether it is of things, whether it is of people, family, whether it is of ideas, then suddenly we have woken up from the dream. We've understood everything, right? So just that, the blindness of attachment has to drop from our eyes. You open your eyes again, right? But Mahabharata is very multi-dimensional.
Thank you.
That is why there's that saying, no? If it is here, it can be elsewhere.
Yes.
But if it is not here, it cannot be anywhere else.
Anywhere else, yes. Yes. Thank you.
Sir, the source or the origin of Mahabharat can also be traced to the Vasu brothers who stole and hid the cow. And then, of course, the resultant was Bhishma Pitamaha, who was the eighth Vasu who had to be born. And then the Pratigya which he took. And then the weak kings ultimately which followed. So which ultimately led to the Mahabharata. So that is also one more source. That is one question, sir. Second question is not a question, it's a statement. Second one is, of course, it is so fascinating, this Mahabharata story. And it is basically not for me maybe so much as something which has happened outside, as it seems to be and often related as, but rather the war within for us. But then there is also always a question, has it historically happened, since the places are also still seen in parts of the country and elsewhere, or it is just a story for us to have our learnings from? A question which normally is debated and asked. It's also something which interests me, if I can have some answer from you, sir.
So the 7 Vasus, right? 8 Vasus actually, is the story of the birth of the ego. Birth of the ego means the expressed part of the ego. 7 parts are drowned in the, what do you call, Ganga, right? But the expressed part, and Ganga is also very symbolic. I mean, you need knowledge. Ganga is Gyan. You need knowledge to see those 7 parts of the, and when you compare, I mean, it's as if it's a kind of parallel, you know, Krishna and Bhishma. Both are the 8th son. One was born and the chains broke. So when consciousness enters, then all the chains break and you're in freedom. The chains broke and the, what do you call, the guards went to sleep and Vasudev takes him out of the, what do you call, jail, right? And Bhishma was his whole life in the, what do you call, jail of his what do you call pratigya. Can you see the? So we have these two characters, and when you compare these two characters, and 8 again is a very, what do you call, important number. Not only that Gurdjieff's law of octaves comes in, but when you say Ashtada Prakriti, it is called. Ashtada Prakriti means the 5 elements and Man, Buddhi, Ahankar. So 8, right? So the 5 elements and Man, Buddhi, Ahankar for freedom, the chains break, right? And Man, Buddhi, Ahankar used to, what do you call, get imprisoned in the drama of life, then Bhishma. Can you get what I'm trying to say? When consciousness is born, it crosses the river of Yamuna. He takes him in a basket across the river, and the Yamuna is the river of the heart, bhakti. The river of the heart, bhakti, right? And he crosses that river, and when you cross the river of the heart, then the town opposite is called Nandagaon. Nand means Anand, enjoy, right? So Krishna is brought up in Nandagaon, right? Bhishma is brought up in what you call the conflicts of Hastinapur. Okay. So you see, all this is very, when we look at both these characters, very profound, and there's a lot you can learn by comparing both of them. Yeah.
What does the name Vasudev mean?
Vas means to stay, to Vasu.
Because even here we have a Vasu, 8 Vasus. And we have a Vasudev here.
Vasudev means with consciousness. With
The
consciousness.
Vasu is with consciousness over here.
Yeah. And there they are performing 8 functions. They are performing 8 functions. The wind, the fire, etc. They're performing 8 functions.
So this is his father over here.
Who?
Vasudev.
Krishna's father.
That's what I'm saying. Krishna's father.
Vasudev.
Vasudev. So is it the same Vasu that we are referring to, or is it some different Vasu?
No, those are 8 Vasus.
Yes.
They are demigods. And Vasudev was a person who was living in Kans's, kingdom. And he was his wife Devki was related to Kans. She was his cousin. But Kans did not have any sisters, so she was also his sister. Right? But Vasudev had 7, 8 wives. In those days, he was Mr. Mathura. Right? He was Mr. India. Everybody wanted to marry their daughter to Vasudev. Right?
So here, how do we mean Vasu as
Where?
Krishna's father? Vasudev. Then what does the term Vasudev mean over here?
Where consciousness is living.
But Vasu is what exactly then?
To reside somewhere. Vasu. Madhupurma Vasu chu. What do you say in English here? I'm residing in Madhupur, where you reside. And from Vasu comes the word Vasna. I desire to live over here. I desire for this.
That is why the slang.
And Vasna, it has a deeper meaning in the sense that the desire has made its residence in my chitta. Vasna. The desire has made its residence in my chitta. It's now staying there permanently.
वसाहत हो गया उसका. ठीक.
Vasu also means the earth.
Oh, it
Vasundhara. Does. Right? The earth, where you stay.
Where you stay.
Story that has happened, about the historical and geographical story that has happened, if you could throw some light on it.
Whether it happened historically or not, it's very difficult to say. Because I was sitting once with Mr. Tavaria in the lobby of, forgotten the name, which hotel we were in. in Mysore. And everybody else had gone and only two of us were there. And we were talking till nearly 12 o'clock in the night. And he says, don't think it has happened once. It has happened so many times. From Mahakal, the Mahabharat descends, everything happens and it goes back into Mahakal. Right? So, says it has happened so many times. So, whether we can find whether it has happened or not is a different thing. I was once many years ago having a discussion with a teacher of another school. Well, I'm not a teacher, but he was a teacher. And he was saying that the Egyptian civilization is much older than the Indian civilization. And of course, it hurts our ego, but that putting the ego on the side. Putting the ego on the side. And from their school, they go many times to Egypt to study the hieroglyphs and all the stuff in Egypt. Now, I said, supposing the Mahabharat had not happened, take it is just a conscious drama written by somebody. He says, nowhere in Egypt will you find in those Egyptian civilization that this took place over here, this took place over here. Here, everything is related, right? So let's say the Pandavas climbed heaven up from here. The steps are there. Go and visit the steps. The Pandavas had a what do you call dip in this what do you call kund over here, right? They stayed in this ashram over here. Now, chalo. So somebody is writing a story, a conscious drama, but he's relating geography to that conscious drama, and that geography is relevant even say if we say 5,000 years later. So supposing they will say that the Pandavas, they what do you call they left their weapons over here. So before going into the Himalayas, they did tyag of their weapons. They, what do you call it? So Bhim left his gada, Arjun left the arrow and all that. They did tyag of the weapons. Yudhishthir left his, what do you call, spear, etc. Now that place where they have left their weapons, there's a small river, but all the stones over there which flow, one will have a shape of a gada like Bhim. And you can see it. It's not, I'm not talking this thing. One will have a spear. Now I says, and this is not at one place. You can see this wherever it has happened. There is some remnant over there. So if you go to Rameshwar, and there's the story of Arjun and the Apsaras in the Rameshwar, then you can see those atolls, how the whole story happened. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? So it is not that he has just related geography to the conscious drama, but after 5,000 years, there are remnants in the geography which, what do you call, give you a proof that it happened over here. You understand what I'm trying to say? As if the, what do you call, the environment in those places was so uplifted by the Pandavas being there that impressions of their being there are still there in the, what do you call, in the sand, in the rocks, in the trees. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? So this you won't see anywhere. In any culture in the world, you cannot see this. Right? And this is there. I mean, whether it happened or not, according to Mr. Tawaria, it happened so many times. Right? And what do you call? But even if it did not happen, to create something like this, to create something, it's phenomenal. Yeah.
Oh Sanjay, I had no hope of victory when I heard that thousands of Snataks and great Brahmins who lived on alms followed Dharmaraja to the forest.
No, you missed one.
Oh Sanjay, I had no hope of victory when I
Ha
heard
ha, yes, yes, yes. So the Brahmins were very, what do you call, worshipped in the old days. And so when Yudhishthir was leaving for the forest, all the Brahmins in the towns, they went with him in the forest for a long time. Snataks, huh? The Brahmins who have now come to the, what do you call, have matured. huh? Of course, we have the very famous discussions going on today, Sanatan Dharma, right? Sanatak, huh? The one who has matured in Sanatan, right? So, they followed him into the forest. They followed him into the. So he said, when I saw that Yudhishthir was leaving into the forest, and all the Brahmins of the city were following, I knew that the, what do you call, Brahmins, their, what do you call, puja, their sankalp, their wishes are with Yudhishthir. They are not with my son, right? And see, many times what we see on the surface is only the physical reality. And behind the physical reality, there may be a reality of multiple dimensions, which we cannot see. We have to be able to sense. And at one time, if we are rise to that level of consciousness, we may be able to see also. So, this is the reality behind the reality. So, we can take a few examples that we got freedom from the British, and the main instrument in freedom was Mahatma Gandhi, right? So we say that the freedom came through Gandhi. Freedom came through Gandhi. Now, 47 we got freedom. Of course, there was a lot of conflict in that timing of the freedom. But then Raman Maharshi made a statement at that time, my work is over. So we say Gandhi was the seen part, but the unseen part were many snataks, followers of the Sanatan Dharma, the Brahmins, right? Raman being maybe one of them, most important, whose good wishes, whose sankalp were with Mahatma Gandhi, and that is why he was performing these acts one after the other, right? So many times the scene is not the complete reality. There is a big reality behind in the unseen, and it is that unseen, if we can see, then we get some idea of what is in the scene. Similarly, we look at Hitler, that for 3 years, an ordinary human being, and he wasn't a very intelligent human being. He lived a life like a sadhu. He was a vegetarian, right? He did not commit a single mistake. So on this, for 3 years, he went on a path of destruction, and not a single mistake was created in this thing. And which, decisions which even very, well-versed military commanders would find it hard to make, he would make in one, no thought, just he would, say that, so there was definitely some force behind Hitler, some invisible force which was working through him. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? So many times the scene is not just this thing. behind the scene there is a big part of the unseen. And if that unseen is working through us, as long as our ego does not come in the way, then what do you call? It's what do you that can keep working, that connection remains, that communication remains. Once the ego comes in, then it breaks off after that. And we can see this even in the life of Napoleon. With 100 soldiers, he came from the island of Elba, and he faced the French army, which was of 120,000 soldiers. And they saw these 100 soldiers marching against them. 100 soldiers can't do anything against 120,000, right? And they saw them, and all 120,000 put down their arms, and they said Napoleon is the emperor. So there was a big these things don't happen just like that. There's something behind which is this thing, right? And then of course that very famous what do you call, where they come for the Battle of Waterloo, which Napoleon should have won. It was very easy for him to win, and his general came to him and he says that before we go to sleep at night, let's put our tanks on top of the hill so that we are overlooking the enemy from the top of the hill, and we can fire our what do you call cannons, not the tanks, the cannons from the top of the hill. And Napoleon said that we'll do it in the morning. Why are you in such a hurry? So then the general answered, then God save us. When Napoleon said this, then God save us. And Napoleon then said that God is not winning wars, I am winning wars. And it rained the whole night. Next morning, there was no way the cannons could go on top of there was so much mud. And he lost the war. Can you see? So the ego, when it comes in, then this something which is connecting with you, right? It gets broken. Whether it got disconnected with Gandhi or not, we don't want to go into that. And then he died. We don't really know what happened. But definitely there was some force. So here he's saying that all the Brahmins have gone to the, what do you call, jungle with Yudhishthir. They have gone into the jungle. Then who is going to win the battle for my son? Who is going to win the battle? Because it is their Sankalp Shakti, their what do you call, inner power which helps my son to win the war. So they said they have gone into the jungle. Right? Bolo. One more? Huh?
O Sanjay, I had no hope of victory when I heard that Arjun had pacified in combat the god of the gods, Shiva, who appeared before him in the disguise of a hunter and obtained from him the great weapon, Pashupat.
The Pashupat Astra. Right? Pat means to protect. Pat means to control, and Pashu means the animal. Right? So that weapon which controls all the animal intensities. Right? And this weapon belonged to Shiva. And just by the use of that weapon, Arjun could have won the war. But Krishna did not allow him to use that weapon. And he got this weapon from Shiva himself. And there's that famous story where Shiva as the hunter and Arjun, and both their arrows come into the what do you call, wild boar, and then there's a fight between them, and Arjun loses that fight, but he bows down, gives up his ego, and then Shiva gives him this Pashupat Astra. So when the news came that Shiva had given his Pashupat Astra to Arjun, and that one Astra could have won the war without doing anything else, then Dhritarashtra knew. He says, I knew now we are going to, what do you call, lose the war. Shall we take any questions? Anything? Right? Yeah. हाँ, ले लो एक.
O Sanjay, I had no hope of victory when I heard that Arjun, bound by his promise, had gone to heaven and learnt properly from Indra the use of celestial weapons.
This story everybody knows. Arjun went for so many years to the. I think out of the 12 years in Agnatwas, I think 6 or 7 years he went into the heavens. And he, what do you call, got these celestial weapons from all the gods. And not only that, he learned the use of all the weapons, right? But they didn't give him the weapons before he got the Pashupat Astra from Shiva. So first he gets the Pashupat Astra and then he gets these weapons, celestial weapons. Bolo. Anything anyone wants to say?
So you talked about the 12 years that he was there. He got the Pashuput Astra, and then obviously he learns all this. That's sort of our journey of life also, right? Somewhere in our life, we're trying to figure out what's our starting point and then how do we develop skills to conquer the remaining parts of our life. Maybe some words around that from a relatability perspective?
See, there's a saying that nature abhors a vacuum. It's a very old saying. Nature abhors a vacuum. So, our chitta, I won't use the word mind because the mind is a small part of the chitta, but we can say mind also, is full of sanskars, habits. And when we consciously destroy a mechanical habit, that empty space cannot remain. A conscious habit has to come over, or a conscious sanskar has to come over there. So, we say a mechanical habit is mechanical, but a conscious habit is spontaneous, sahaj. We use the word sahaj. Now, say there is one mechanical habit that my self-love feels hurt. And over a period of time, I work with my self-love. And now I reach a state where nothing can hurt my self-love. Or I'm over my self-love. I've got over the self-love. There is love, but there is no self-love. Right? There's no personal love, universal love. So that empty space of personal love will suddenly be filled by a new conscious habit of maybe exchanging love, which will happen spontaneous. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to this thing. But wherever you go, whatever you touch, you will share love. And this is not 100% automatic, it is spontaneous. There's a difference. Can you understand? So, this replacing of mechanical sanskar by conscious sanskar is what we call the acquisition of siddhis. Now, we can take it in another way. That my self-love is hurt, and because of that, I'm harboring a feeling of revenge with this person. I want to give it back to this person who insulted me. Right? So, there is what you call asmita, hurt of self-love, and there is dvesh. I want to give it back to that person. So, we have two powerful patterns over here. And I'm observing these patterns, and over a period of time, in the small events which life brings in front of me, I see the influence of these patterns. How it is these patterns which are influencing life in certain way. Can you see? Now I'm so much involved in the pattern that I want to take revenge upon her, right? That I did 2 or 3 things mechanically, which resulted in a big loss in my business. So suddenly I see that these patterns, they are making me act in a certain way, and because of that, these are the consequences which I'm facing. I don't know if you've been able to understand what I'm trying to say. Have you ever understood what I'm trying to say? Can you get what I'm trying to say? Because I'm thinking of taking revenge upon her, right? Now I work upon those patterns, I bring in consciousness, and a consciousness comes in the place of those patterns. That is a pattern of consciousness in some habit form, but spontaneous. Because vacuum can't remain. One sanskar goes, another has to come. Can you understand? But now I'm not identified with that sanskar. I'm free of it. It cannot disturb me in any way, unless I get attached to it. Now, till then the thing was, it is hurting my ego and I'm facing the consequences of that. Out of that, it is hurting my ego, the pattern of revenge, the pattern of jealousy, the pattern of whatever. Now suddenly that is not there any longer. And there's pure perception, pure seeing. And you come to me and says, she is doing this to me, but હવે આનાથી હું આગળ નહીં ચલાવી લઉં. I can bear so much, but now my limit has come. Now you can't say what I'll do, what kind of, what do you call, action I will take, and what kind of person I can become. Now, you don't realize at that moment you are sowing the seed. But I can see the seed and I can see the consequences of the seed at the same time. I see your future in that moment only. Can you? And now this is a siddhi. Can you see? This is a siddhi. Can you understand? This next shibir we are doing on the Yoga Sutra. So one of the sutras is Tivra Samvega Nam Asana. It's normal translation we take. Asana means near. For those who work hard, Tivra Samveg. Veg means intensity, Veg means speed. Samveg means in a harmonious way. Right? Tivra means with intensity. So those who work on their practices with intensity, that state of yoga is near, asana. Near. Can you get what I... Now near can have 101 meanings. Can you... Nearness in time, nearness in space, nearness in physical space, nearness in psychological space. Can you understand? Whatever. Now we take the example of what do you call Vivekananda over here. In Ramakrishna's ashram, there was one person who was a worshipper of gods, and he had 100 gods, and he would worship them every day, and you dip them in the Ganga and give them a bath and do all like the Vaishnavas do, you know. So, and he was a beautiful person. And Vivekananda would keep on coming to him and saying, this is all nonsense, you throw away these gods. They have nothing to do with yoga. And this person wouldn't listen to Vivekananda. He would keep on doing his puja and all that. And Ramakrishna loved this. His name was Kalu. Ramakrishna loved him. Then one day Vivekananda got an experience of samadhi. Samadhi. And he got an experience of samadhi, and in that suddenly he sees he has so much power. Now can you see in the first, he had that experience of samadhi, self-love was there, ego was there. That samadhi came to him, but it was tinged by the ego. The first thing he did, he sent a message to this Kalu, you take your gods and throw them in the Ganga. Right? So this poor guy, he collected everything in a bundle and he was going towards the Ganga, and Ramakrishna came in the opposite direction. And Ram, where are you going? And Ramakrishna realized what had happened. So he said, you go back. So he says, no, enough is enough. I have decided that I have to throw these into the Ganga. These cannot lead to yoga. So he says, no, you go back and stop it. Then he went to Vivekananda. And he told Vivekananda, okay, this is the worst thing you can do is you got this and you use this to show off your ego, your self-love. Now you won't experience this throughout your life. Right? And it is said that, so it is so near, but near in space, far in time. Can you understand? It is so near in space, but far in time. Can you get it? So he then in his last 3 days of his life, when he was meditating at Vivekananda place in Rameshwaram, Ramakrishna came in his dream and gave it back to him. Can you get it? So the rest of his life he could never experience that state. Why he couldn't experience that state? Because it was near to him. In space it was just there next to him, but he couldn't experience it. You get it? Right? And you have the other experience of Rabindranath. So Rabindranath, somebody asked him that, did you find the key to the door? So he says, I traveled and traveled and I found the door and I found the key to the door. But now I'm still traveling, but I'm not opening that door because what will happen after that? I'm worried about that. Can you get it? So it is so near, but still so far. So what do you call near? Can you understand what I'm trying to say? So in life, it is sometimes it is so near that it is further than the most further thing. And that is the truth of the story. Right? So,
One thing that struck from what you just said about mechanical sanskar, and then you said about conscious sanskar. So maybe one way we can look at this is that the Arjunas and the Pandavas, if they had their kingdom and they had all the wealth and everything was there, then no void would have been created. Just like maybe in our childhood, we are born and brought up with the sanskars of our parents and everybody else around us, and mechanically we're trained to behave in a certain way. Then some void happens, some situation occurs, and maybe that gives us the opportunity to now fill the half glass milk with something new if we desire to do so. So once you had suggested that in your day, when you wake up, first finish everything that you're mechanically supposed to do or take care of. So maybe it creates a void, right? So maybe there is this effort on this journey of creating, some consciousness. Maybe the story somewhat signifies a little bit of that too, that this void was created in their lives to recreate everything through consciousness again.
They were living a luxurious life. They lost everything, and they lost everything in treachery. So all negativity came up. And then 12 years it took to work on that negativity, and mechanical negativity went away and conscious spontaneity came in. And then they won the battle. And this is everyone's story. This is everyone's story. So first of all, you have to allow the negativity to come up, because if the negativity is hidden deep within our unconscious mind, we can't see it. It has to come up, right? And then we observe it and be free of it. And then we create siddhis, conscious practices, which allow us to win the war.
Story in our families, right? I mean, we're all saying father knows best, but somewhere we have to stop and let things come.
See, even if you take the Ramayana, that Kaikai, she asked for her boon that you send Ram to the jungle. Now, here there are two parts. One is the obvious part that Kaikeyi is the villain, she sent him to the. And then there's the other part that she had that, what do you call, foresight to see that this child was not yet ready for the kingdom. But if he goes through 12 years of vanvas, suffering, then in that he is cooked and made mature to run Ram Rajya. So we can look at it two ways. Can you? And then she just became the villain through acting. She acted. She took it upon herself. Right. That okay. She asked the king, "You send him to this thing." So so many different angles you can look at the same thing. Chalo, utte? Yeah, please. Sorry.
So I was just thinking about that. If you see somebody very close to you doing something, and you can see the seed that they are sowing and the result, should we say something? Should we do something, or just observe and let them do what they are doing? Or is it dependent on different situations?
I've answered this question many, many times. Once I was sitting with Mr. Tavaria and I asked him a question because we were talking about Omkar. So I said that if you see your son is going to cross the road and a truck is going to knock him down, will you tell him not to cross the road? Same thing. Same thing. Right? But we are not Mr. Tavaria. Okay. So he says, I will not tell him directly. I will not tell him directly. I cannot tell him directly. It is his destiny. Now, this is a very high statement. Very, very high statement. I will tell him, have a cup of tea before going. Hang on for 5 minutes. Right? Do this. Let's talk a little. And then you go after 5-10 minutes. So I know that yoga of death has gone away. Right? So then the truck is not going to knock him because the yoga which brings death over there is not there. So then I asked him another question. That what are the chances he will listen to you? So he said 0. He says the pull of death is so powerful that whatever I tell him, he's not going to listen. He's going to go to cross the road. Now you decide after that what you want to do. This ashram in Madhopur, we have the Ramdulare ashram where Bapu lived and stayed for 7 years. So one day, in the morning, I used to take his tea to him whenever I was there in the ashram. And sometimes he would give me something to eat and we would have breakfast together and some. So we were sitting there and the tea is in his hand and he puts the cup down. Mrutyuna yog che. There's yoga, death. Let's go now. So in my night suit, we all sat in the car and we took the car. Now the ashram was finally given by one Mamlatdar. You know what is a Mamlatdar, right? So we went to Porbandar. We drove fast to that Mamlatdar's house. And where is he? His name was Mehta. And so his wife says, Bapu, 15 minute pehla nikli gaya. Okay, he left 15 minutes ago. He says, now it's okay. Let's go to Dwarka, have darshan and come back. So next day it was in the headlines in the Gujarati paper. Okay, Porbandar na Mamlatdar, he had a road accident at Vantli and he died. So the pull of death is sometimes more powerful than the pull of consciousness also. Can you get what I mean? Stop over here, right? Thank you. 4:30 we are meeting. 4:30.